Part 5. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 41. Training ground number 4 is quiet at night. The only sounds that could be heard were the crackling of wood burning in the campfire and a few wolf howls in the distant forest. Yagami Ryusuke and the others were sitting around a campfire, eating grilled sizzling black bear meat and drinking the juice that Ino brought. Chatting and enjoying the food. I wish this moment would never pass. Throwing away the bones in his hand, Naruto patted his bulging belly and lay down directly. It was the first time I ate meat until I was full, and I felt like I might not want to eat meat again for several days. Naruto's previous food was basically instant noodles. Because instant noodles can be bought in large quantities at one time and stored at home, and the price is cheap, he often eats instant noodles for 3 meals a day. For Naruto, eating a meal of Ichiraku ramen has already improved his life. The pieces of meat in the ramen are his rare meat dishes. As for barbecue and the like, to be honest, he really can't afford it. And the boss, they won't let him in. Even if he saves a lot of money, it's useless. Therefore, today's dinner is the first time that Naruto has eaten meat since he was born. It's Naruto's first time he feels like he wants to vomit when he sees meat. In the past, it was good if he didn't drool when he saw meat. Naruto, next time I will teach you some methods of making traps, so that you can catch wild animals in the forest and eat them by yourself. Ryusuke Yagami said. Really? Naruto sat up all of a sudden and said with a happy smile, haha. That way I won't have to eat instant noodles every day anymore. Seeing that Naruto was so happy just because he would have meat to eat in the future. Shikamaru next to him also showed a thoughtful expression. He didn't know what he was thinking. At this time, a shooting star crossed the horizon. It's a shooting star. Make a wish quickly. Ino shouted loudly, and quickly put his hands on his chest and closed his eyes. I want to become Hokage and let everyone in the village recognize me. Naruto jumped up and shouted. Fool! If you say your wish, it won't work. Ino opened her eyes and looked at Naruto, who was yelling speechlessly. Does this guy understand? Ah! That's it? Naruto laughed and scratched his scalp. He didn't know whether to make a wish or not. After all, no one had told him this. Late at night, Ryusuke Yagami took back the 5 shadow clones. The large number of memories that came to him in an instant made him feel dizzy. After a few seconds of slowing down, Ryusuke Yagami also checked the training progress of the 5 shadow clones in the past 2 days. The shadow clone who has practiced treading water can now run freely in the rapid river. Compared with the beginning, he would fall into the water after taking a few steps. It can be said to be a great improvement. In addition, the shadow clone who practices ninjutsu is already completely familiar with these copied ninjutsu. Whether it's the B-level Fire Dragon Flame Bomb or several other C-level ninjutsu, they are already very familiar with it. Yagami Ryusuke plans to let the shadow clone begin to study the changes in the nature of chakra next. As for form changes, the 2 shadow clones who had been studying the Raise-Non for 2 days were already exploring it. After 2 days, Raise-Non, who was assigned 2 shadow clones, has also reached the ball stage. The first stage of water balloon training has been completed in the morning. However, if the ball stage is to be completed, even if there are 2 shadow clones that complement each other, it will take 3 or 4 days to complete. As for the last stage, this one is faster. Probably about 2 days. In other words, if 2 shadow clones are separated to practice the Raise-Non, it will take Ryusuke Yagami about 6 days to learn this A-level Maji ninjutsu. But if Ryusuke Yagami allocates more shadow clones to practice Raise-Non, this time will be reduced accordingly. It would be great if I knew the art of multiple shadow clones. Ryusuke Yagami was a little envious of Naruto's multiple shadow clone technique at this time. Compared with the ordinary shadow clone technique, the multiple shadow clone technique can create more shadow clones, and it can even be said that there is no upper limit. The only thing that affects the upper limit is probably your own endurance. After all, the more shadow clones you create, the greater the pressure you will endure when you take them back. If you don't have a strong physique to support you, even if you have enough, the chakra is useless. Once it is withdrawn, you will definitely die. As for ordinary shadow clones, they can only create a dozen or so shadow clones. In contrast, thousands or even more shadow clones can be created at one time. The multiple shadow clone technique of the clone is quite amazing. Moreover, the ordinary shadow clone technique tests the control ability of chakra. Because it needs to accurately divide the chakra into several or more than a dozen parts. But the multiple shadow clone technique, there is no need for this technique. It is basically a simple and crude way of putting a large ball of chakra into it, and then it will be evenly divided into dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of parts. It is suitable for people like Naruto who have a lot of chakra but can control it. However, his ability is very average, even a poor ninja. Before, Yagami Ryusuke briefly practiced the shadow clone technique, and he was almost able to separate 5 shadow clones and then stopped contacting him. But now, Yagami Ryusuke has another. He gave it a try. With his current ability to accurately control chakra, he can easily create about 10 shadow clones. In this case, his training efficiency can be doubled. Starting tomorrow, let the 5 shadow clones practice Raiznan together, and arrange 2 more shadow clones to study the changes in nature. The last 3 will continue to practice chakra control, taijutsu, and observe other ninjas in the village, waiting for opportunities to copy ninjutsu. Ryusuke Yagami quickly assigned the tasks of the 10 shadow clones. Then what are you doing? The shadow clone next to him, who hadn't disbanded, suddenly asked. Ryusuke Yagami laughed and said, of course I will continue to go to school. After all, I'm still a student at the ninja school. As soon as Ryusuke Yagami finished speaking, 10 middle fingers appeared next to him and pointed at him. Ontology, you just want to be lazy, right? The shadow clone unceremoniously exposed Yagami Ryusuke's little thoughts. There is so much nonsense about the shadow clone. If you are tired, go to sleep. Ryusuke Yagami blushed, and followed the seals to disperse 10 shadow clones. What is laziness? I call it a hobby of learning. Yagami. Ryusuke muttered. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 42. Ninja School. In the classroom of Class A, 4th grade. Ryusuke Yagami changed his sleepy look from last week and walked into the classroom in high spirits. Ryusuke. At this time, a soft body jumped on Yagami Ryusuke's back. When he looked back, he saw Ino looking at him with a smile. Okay, there are so many people in the classroom, come down quickly. Ryusuke Yagami said with a smile. Ino did not rely on him all the time, and let go of his hand obediently. Hey! Sakura, you are here too. At this time, she realized that Sakura was looking here not far away, and said hello with a smile. Snort. Harano Sakura snorted and turned away. I remember you had a good relationship before, right? Ryusuke Yagami asked curiously when he saw this scene. It was good before going to school, but things fell apart later on. Ino said. Why? Ryusuke Yagami asked. Ino actually pointed at him. Because Ryusuke Yagami said in surprise. He didn't remember that Harano Sakura liked him. Hasn't this woman always been Uchiha Sasuke's licking dog? Yes, it's because of you. Ino explained. Sakura said that you were just good looking, but had no ability, and your grades were at the bottom of the class. I couldn't get angry, so I quarreled with her for a few words, and then we broke up. This. It's really because of me. Ryusuke Yagami shook his head in confusion. Does that now prove that your vision is better than hers? Ryosuke. Yagami said with a smile. Of course, Ino raised her head proudly, revealing her beautiful white neck. Is this lady's taste bad? It's her, Sakura, who doesn't know the goods. Suzuki. Ino just said that Sakura is ignorant, and Sakura, who was just sulking, ran over while shouting Suzuki. With his hands in his pockets and an indifferent face, Suzuki walked into the classroom and saw him face to face. Harano Sakura ran over to her while calling her name. She frowned and showed a bored expression. Noisy women are the most annoying. Suzuki, have you had breakfast? I brought you rice balls. I made them myself. Sakura took out a box from behind like she was offering a treasure and handed it to Suzuki in front of her. You are so annoying, go away. Suzuki pushed Sakura away and walked directly towards his seat. When he passed by Yagami Ryosuke, Suzuki glanced at him. I was careless last time, but I will never lose to you again, Ryosuke. This weekend, Suzuki has been reflecting on why he lost to Ryosuke Yagami, and finally concluded that it was because he was too careless. Being the top student in the class all year round made him slack off. That's why he lost to Ryosuke Yagami. Introducing this latecomer. In the past 2 days, he has been practicing hard and feels that his strength has improved. If it happens again, Suzuki firmly believes that the person who loses will not be him again. Ryosuke Yagami doesn't care about Suzuki at all. A provocative look. He led Ino back to his seat, and the two chatted quietly. Suzuki, who saw this scene, also sneered in his heart. Really? Did you start to fall because you suddenly became popular? Ryosuke, it turns out your temper is nothing more than this. In comparison, I, who is burdened with a blood feud, am far beyond what you can compare to. However, fortunately, your appearance reminded me once again that I have indeed slacked off a bit in the past 2 years. I was immersed in the honor of being the chief student and started to become a bit slack. But from now on, I will never indulge in the glory of being the chief student again. I will remind myself every moment and never relax even a little bit. And you, with these women around you, how can you compare with me? Ryosuke Yagami, who was talking to Ino, had no idea about Suzuki's inner psychological activities at this moment. However, even if he knew, Ryosuke Yagami would just smile. You know, this is the world of Naruto. Hard work is forever. He can't catch up with the cheater. Although Suzuki himself is also a cheater. But the old man who sent him the cheat has not yet appeared, and Ryosuke Yagami's cheat is already online. To borrow Suzuki's words, what are you comparing to me? The first class in the morning was another cultural class that gave Ryosuke Yagami a headache. God knows why ninjas also need to learn mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Not everyone is a great scientist like Orochimaru. Anyway, Ryosuke Yagami is really not good at these things. To learn this, you might as well let him fight a jounin. So, Ryosuke Yagami secretly took out the hair that he got from the Ichiraku ramen shop on Saturday from the biopheromone warehouse. He tried them one by one. The first few are all Rock Lee. I was prompted pheromone invalid, but when Ryosuke Yagami took out the 6th one, the prompt conversion successful finally appeared. Finally found the right one. Ryosuke Yagami was overjoyed. This is Metkai's biological pheromone. A talent entry transformed from the famous Emperor Kai. At least it's gold, right? Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the talent entry, the man recognized by Madara Uchiha, gold. System, you are naughty again. Ryosuke Yagami looked at the name of this talent entry with a very strange expression on his face. However, fortunately, this talent entry is indeed a golden talent entry, as Ryosuke Yagami guessed at the beginning. Although the name is a bit weird. But as long as it's useful, it doesn't matter what it's called. It doesn't matter even if it's called the man Uchiha Madara likes. No one else can see it anyway. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 43. The man recognized by Uchiha Madara, Gold Eye, Uchiha Madara, would like to call you the strongest. Master Ben approves, a golden sign. From now on, you are Uchiha Madara's approved man. Physical power add 1000%. Physical fitness add 1000%. Resilience add 1000%. Comes with lossless 8-door Dungia, 6-door. System, I suspect you did it on purpose. Ryosuke Yagami looked at the introduction of this talent entry and felt even more speechless. What does "you are Uchiha Madara's man" mean? Don't think that adding 2 words in the middle will make it okay. However, although this talent entry it has strong prank attributes. But the attributes of the entry itself are still very good. Let's not talk about physical fitness and recovery power. These 2 attributes also appeared in the previous entries. But the attribute of physical power bonus, Yagami Ryosuke also saw it for the first time. It turned out that the power of physical skills can also be enhanced by entries. However, what does this lossless and 8-door Dungia mean? Using this version of 8-gate Dungia, it has no effect on the body. Damage. Yagami Ryosuke interpreted it literally, and felt that it should be inseparable, that's all. Then he equipped the talent entry man recognized by Uchiha Madara. In this way, Yagami Ryosuke there are already 12 equipment entries, 3 of which are purple talent entries, and the remaining 9 are all golden legendaries. Who else has this configuration? After equipping this new talent entry, Yeshen Ryosuke also understood the meaning of the non-destructive and 8-door armor, 6-door. As you can see from the literal meaning, the non-destructive and 8-door armor means that there will be no damage to the body when using the 8-door armor. You can drive it as long as you want, how you want it, when you want it. Hey, the lossless version is so capricious. However, there is a note behind this, it is 6 doors. In other words, the characteristics attached to this talent entry can only support opening 6 doors without damage at most. 7 and 8 doors with more than 6 doors will not be responsible. Therefore, if Ryosuke Yagami can now use 8 doors, he will be the first 6 the door can be opened at will. But the 7th and 8th doors must be opened more leisurely. Especially the 8th door. It cannot be opened casually. It will kill people. 8 gates Dungia? It should be said that it is the talent entry transformed from Metkai, and it is indeed somewhat related to the 8-gate Dungia. Ryoja Yagami said in his heart, and now he has another goal. That is to learn the 8-gate Dungia. After all, if he can open the 6 gates without any damage, that would be very powerful. Although with his physical fitness and recovery ability, even if you practice normally to the 6th gate, the damage caused by the 6th gate can be recovered quickly, even to a level where the recovery is equal to the injury. But it hurts after all. Xiao Li's love for Gaara in the Chunin exam in one scene, it was because it was too painful, so the final movement was slowed down by half a beat, so that Gaara seized the opportunity. With Li's willpower, it still hurts like this. This is only the 5th gate. You can imagine what the pain will be like when you open the 6th door. But Yagami Ryosuke estimated that if this talent entry could be upgraded to a god-level entry. This comes with a lossless version of the 8-door Dungia, which can most likely open 7 doors without loss. That would be awesome. As for opening 8 doors without loss, Yagami Ryosuke never thought about it. After all, that is a super move that can make Metkai, an elite Jonin, directly kick the body of the 6 paths class to pieces. If it can be opened without any loss, Yagami Ryosuke can directly declare that he is invincible. After all, as for ninjutsu, there are some bloodstains specially designed to absorb ninjutsu. For example, at Sutsuki Momoshiki Samsara I. You can absorb ninjutsu and return it to you in double the amount. Totally lame behavior. But in terms of physical skills, only Uchiha Obito's Hollow can ignore it so far. But the virtualization not only ignores physical skills, but also ninjutsu and illusions, etc. are also useless. It can be said that everyone is treated equally. Why can Brother Tuze play so well in the early stage? Isn't it all about the virtualization ability? If there is no virtualization, he is just a kid. Therefore, it should not be said that Uchiha Madara has really good taste. Among so many Uchiha, Obito was chosen. In the end, Obito did not disappoint him. The ability of Kaleidoscope is among the strongest. Immediately 5 minutes of invincibility, and it can be activated continuously. Although not the Eternal Eye. But Uchiha Madara gave him half of his body's Hashirama cells, which was enough for Obito to toss around. However, virtualization is not without its shortcomings. For example, in the battle with Namikaze Minato, Obito exposed his shortcomings. 5 minutes is not short though. But you can't always stop attacking, right? And once you want to attack, you have to cancel the virtual state. Although this time is short. But it will be very troublesome when encountering a ninja like Minato Namikaze who has displacement skills and extremely fast reaction speed. If you are not careful, the opponent will catch the flaw and give you a fatal blow. After all, Obito's own background is too poor. As long as he has some other abilities besides virtualization. It's not like we can only rely on virtualization to show off the whole process. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 44. The vacation time of ninja school is similar to that of ordinary elementary school. There are also winter and summer vacations. Autumn passes and winter comes. In a blink of an eye, it's already winter. The temperature dropped and the water in the tank began to freeze. Everyone also put on thick winter clothes and wore a scarf to keep warm when going out. On this day, there was heavy snowfall in the sky. This is the first snow in Konoha in 58 years. After the heavy snow, the ninja school also went on winter vacation. The students were all in high spirits and happy to be able to take a month's rest. Ryosuke Yagami stood in the crowd, still dressed the same as he was more than 2 months ago, with a white lining paired with a black short jacket and a pair of black trousers. He looked a little out of place with the classmates wearing cotton-padded clothes and scarves around him. Ryosuke, Happy New Year. At this time, Ino came over with a smile and congratulated Yagami Ryosuke a Happy New Year. The holiday time of the ninja school is the first day of the new year. The Naruto world uses this day as a New Year's Day, and every household will celebrate the new year. Today, the ninja school only had half-day classes. The main reason was that the third Hokage came to speak for a long time, and then the head teacher made some explanations, assigned winter vacation homework, and finally announced the holiday. That's right. The ninja school also has winter vacation homework. Ryosuke Yagami was shocked. Unexpectedly, he ran to another world and still couldn't escape the threat of winter vacation homework. Fortunately, Yagami Ryosuke had already thought of it. Then he could just let the shadow clone complete his winter vacation homework. I'm such a clever little guy. Yagami Ryosuke thought with a smile while saying New Year's greetings to a few friends. Ryosuke, I will practice hard during the winter vacation. When school starts after the vacation, I will definitely defeat you. At this time, Suzuki with an indifferent face came over, said something to Ryosuke Yagami, and then turned around and left. What the hell? He obviously loses to Ryosuke every time, so why bother? Ino looked unhappy. Suzuki is quite motivated. Ryosuke Yagami laughed and didn't take it to heart at all. In the past 2 months, Sasuke has lost to Ryosuke Yagami 16 times. Every time Ryosuke Yagami deliberately pretended that he could barely beat him, it seems that this also gave Sasuke the illusion that as long as I practice hard, I can catch up with Ryosuke Yagami. But the illusion is just an illusion. Seeing the two pillars working so hard, Ryosuke Yagami also had a look on his face. A smile like an old father's. I'm very happy. Night. Yagami Mitsuki prepared a table of delicious food. Mother and son were sitting around a dining table, happily celebrating the arrival of the new year. Ryosuke, this is a gift for you. After dinner, Yagami Mitsuki handed over a beautifully wrapped box. It was a New Year's gift from Yagami Ryosuke. Mom, I also have a gift for you. At this time, Yagami Ryosuke also acted like a magician. He took out a gift box from somewhere and handed it to his mother. Ryosuke also prepared a New Year's gift for his mother. Yakama Mitsuki was very touched, thinking that the child has really grown up and has become sensible enough to know how to give her mother a New Year's gift. Opening the gift box, her mother, Yagami Mitsuki, gave Yagami Ryosuke a beautiful New Year's gift. Yagami Ryosuke's original ninja tool bag was quite old, so Yagami Mitsuki gave him a new one. There was also a complete set of ninja tools in it, including kunai, shurikens, wire ropes, etc. It's just that there is no detonating charm. After all, that thing is too dangerous for the students of the ninja school. And what Ryosuke Yagami gave to his mother Mitsuki Yagami was a set of the latest skincare products. Because he wanted one people take care of Ryosuke Yagami, have to cook and wash clothes, and have to go to the ninja hospital to work during the day, so that Mizuki Yagami looks a little haggard. Ryosuke Yagami gave this to his mother. I use skincare products because I want her to take good care of herself. Thank you Ryosuke, my mother likes this gift very much. I also like the gift from my mother. Ryosuke Yagami also smiled happily, vowing silently in his heart that he must protect this home and never allow anyone to destroy it. It was past 10 o'clock in the evening. Ryosuke Yagami slipped out of the door silently, and then came to the apartment where Naruto lived. He avoided an Umbu who was watching nearby. He threw a genjutsu to the other party to prevent him from seeing what happened next. Immediately, Yagami Ryosuke sneaked in smoothly. We arrived at the place where Naruto lived. The reason why he was so sneaky was mainly because Yagami Ryosuke had a special gift to give to Naruto, and it was not convenient for the Umbu and the third Hokage behind the Umbu to know about it. Otherwise, it would inevitably cause him harm. Some troubles. Although with Yagami Ryosuke's strength, he is not afraid of these little troubles now. If possible, he can avoid them. For the time being, he does not want to break his current quiet life. If anyone doesn't want him to be so quiet and silent, if it develops, Ryosuke Yagami will have to show his fangs and teach him an unforgettable lesson. In the room, Naruto hasn't slept yet. He is sitting alone in a daze. The house is deserted, unlike the outside. The excitement is completely like two different worlds. Happy New Year, Naruto. Ryosuke Yagami suddenly spoke, waking up Naruto who was in a daze. Ryosuke. Naruto looked at Ryosuke Yagami who suddenly appeared in surprise. How did you come? He didn't notice Ryosuke Yagami just now. It was as if he appeared in his room out of thin air. In fact, Ryosuke Yagami opened the door and came in. The reason why Naruto didn't notice him was all because of Ryosuke Yagami. It's because of a talent entry invisible person on the equipment introduced. This talent entry was transformed by Yagami Ryosuke from a Barame Shino more than a month ago. This itself is just a very ordinary purple talent entry with no attributes. It makes people feel amazing. Among the purple talent entries, they are all of a relatively low level. However, it has a special effect, that is, it can greatly reduce your sense of existence. People will ignore you. Existence. It was for this reason that Naruto didn't notice Ryosuke Yagamai opening the door just now. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 45. I'm here to give you a New Year gift. Here, this is a New Year gift specially prepared for you. Ryosuke Yagamai took out a box out of thin air and handed it to Naruto. This is also a small ability that comes with the talent entry Little Rich Woman he obtained more than a month ago. It can transfer the inner space of the seal scroll to himself, but only one seal scroll can be transferred. Ryosuke Yagamai transferred the space of a seal scroll to the palm of his hand. You can directly access items without making seals. The space is just a bit small, but it can be used to pack a few gift boxes. Whatever, it's more than enough. Thank you, Ryosuke. Naruto was so moved that he cried. With red eyes, he reached out to take Yagamai Ryosuke's gift. Then he opened the gift while crying and laughing. Real. Naruto looked at a scroll placed in the box. Open to take a look, Ryosuke Yagamai said. Naruto heard this and picked up the scroll and opened it. It's ninjutsu. Naruto looked at the content recorded in the scroll in surprise. It was the training content of Raise-Non and Shadow Clone technique carefully prepared by Yagamai Ryosuke for him. Although Naruto can also get these in the future. But this does not hinder Yagamai. Ryosuke gave these to Naruto in advance. In the past 2 months, Naruto has been practicing hard, and even stopped doing pranks. He concentrated on training. After more than 2 months, Naruto's strength there has indeed been a significant improvement. Originally, his physique was that of an Uzumaki sage. Coupled with the 9 tails sealed in his body, it was developed well, and it would not be as miserable as in the original work in the early stage. Ryosuke Yagamai he practiced hard because he wanted Naruto to develop his own potential. He asked Naruto to exercise more and practice taijutsu first. This was because at this stage, it was difficult for Naruto to control the wildly growing chakra in his body through practice. Seeing that Naruto was indeed working hard, Ryosuke Yagamai prepared these 2 gifts for him. For these 2 ninjutsu, you should give priority to practicing the Shadow Clone technique. After you learn it, you can use the Shadow Clone to practice. Then just let the Shadow Clone practice the Raise-Non. Ryosuke Yagamai warned Naruto, and warned him not to let anyone know that he knew these 2 ninjutsu for the time being. Don't worry, Ryosuke, I definitely won't tell you. Naruto nodded heavily and promised. In this way, when you practice the Shadow Clone technique, just go to the toilet, it is safer there, said Ryosuke Yagamai. Naruto didn't understand why this was happening, but since it was Ryosuke who said it, he would definitely obey it. After all, Ryosuke Yagamai is his best friend. Naruto has many shortcomings, but for friends, he is absolutely sincere. Whoever is good to him will be better to him. Even if you are not good to him, as long as you listen to the advice, Kwai-dun understands, he will still be good to you. The reason why Yagamai Ryosuke asked Naruto to practice the Shadow Clone technique in the toilet was to avoid the sight of the Umbu who were monitoring him. The Umbu would not be so bored that they would even monitor Naruto when he went to the toilet and took a shower. Therefore, he would avoid the toilet. These places. In that case, Naruto can practice openly in these places. After he learns the Shadow Clone technique, he can leave these trainings to the Shadow Clone in the future. In Naruto's own words, just focus on exercising. After staying with Naruto for a while, Ryosuke Yagamai left. He is going to deliver several gifts tonight. There was no time to stay with Naruto for too long. Next, Ryosuke Yagamai went to Ino's house and Hinata's house respectively and gave them a New Year's gift each. Whether it is a ninja from the Yamanaka clan or a ninja from the Hyuga clan. No one noticed this uninvited guest sneaking into the room of their little princess. After delivering the gifts, Yagami Ryusuke stayed with Ino and Hinata for a while before going to Shikamaru and Koji's side. But this time Yagami Ryusuke didn't need to be sneaky. Just go through the front door openly and openly. During the Chinese New Year, no one takes a break so early. So the process was smooth. Ryusuke Yagami himself also received several gifts in return. After coming out of the Akimichi clan's territory, Ryusuke Yagami thought for a while, then turned around and headed to the outskirts of the village. That's where the Uchiha clan comes from. It used to be quite lively here. But now, not a single ghost in sight. All these lands have been taken away by the village. Ryusuke Yagami looked at the Uchiha clan's territory. Obviously, the Uchiha clan with thousands of members cannot have such a big place. It doesn't look like it can fit thousands of people into it. Obviously, some of the territory that originally belonged to the Uchiha clan has been taken away by the village, or several high-level officials in Konoha. The lively streets separated by the surrounding wall should also belong to the Uchiha clan. Part of the clan. Killing people and taking away land is even worse than a bandit. Ryusuke Yagami sneered a few times, and followed him into the deathly silent Uchiha clan. The entire clan is about 2,000 to 3,000 square meters in size. There are several buildings and a training ground. But the only one with a light on, there was only one house in the center. Ryusuke Yagami went directly over and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" A wary voice came from the room. "It's me, Ryusuke Yagami." After a while, the door opened. Suzuki looked at Ryusuke Yagami standing outside the door in confusion. "What are you doing at my house?" "Happy New Year." Yagami Ryusuke said, taking out a gift and handing it to him. "Here, this is my New Year's gift to you." "Suzuki. The gift you gave me?" Suzuki confirmed again. "Yeah, take it." Ryusuke Yagami gave him the gift. Suzuki subconsciously caught it, and then whispered, "Thank you. That's it, I'm leaving." Ryusuke Yagami doesn't want to stay in this deserted Uchiha clan place. He always feels like there are many pairs of eyes around him staring at him. You say it's deserted, but it feels like there are a lot of people there. You say it's deserted, but you can't see these people. Slip away. Yagami Ryusuke turned to leave. But then Suzuki called him. "Wait a minute." He turned around and went into the house. After a while, he came out with a long box without packaging. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries." Author, MRMO. Chapter 46. Suzuki looked at his box, then at the one Yagami Ryusuke gave him, and couldn't help but blush. "I didn't prepare in advance, I'll give this to you. Thank you for stopping by." Suzuki handed the box to Ryusuke Yagami. Although his tone was a bit harsh, Ryusuke Yagami could feel his kindness that had obviously improved a lot. "Learn about the perception of good and evil." "Thanks." Ryusuke Yagami took the box with a smile, said thank you, and then left. Looking at the figure disappearing into the night, Suzuki stood at the door for a long time before closing the door and returning to the house. He opened Ryusuke Yagami's that gift. The box contained a ninjutsu scroll. It recorded the training content of a B-level thunder escape ninjutsu. "Ryusuke, this guy." Suzuki held the ninjutsu scroll and couldn't help but feel a sore nose. He hadn't felt like this for a long time since the Uchiha clan was exterminated. "Is it touching? Or warm?" Suzuki looked down at the ninjutsu scroll in his hand, and couldn't help but smile. "Thank you, Ryusuke," he said silently. Back home, Ryusuke Yagami opened the return gifts given to him by his friends. Shikamaru gave him a set of protective gear, which could protect some fragile parts of the body during exercise. Chisai gave him 10 barbecue rolls, which he could eat for free 10 times at his family's barbecue restaurant. What Ino gave was a scarf, which she knitted by herself. It smelled good, and Yagami Ryosuke decided to wear it when he went out tomorrow. Hinata gave her a pair of gloves, which she knitted herself. Luckily it wasn't a scarf. Otherwise it will be repeated. Ryosuke Yagami can't go out wearing 2 scarves tomorrow, right? How strange that is. It's fine now and can be worn together. Finally, it's Suzuki's gift. Although it was a temporary preparation, Yagami Ryosuke looked at the length of the box and probably already knew what was inside. Really? After opening the box, what was inside was a ninja sword. Black scabbard with white handle. Draw out the blade. There are wisps of cold light flashing under the light. What a knife. This looks like high-end goods. You can't buy them in ordinary ninja shops. They need to be customized. Yagami Ryosuke instilled a ray of chakra into it. The chakra passed through the blade without any hindrance. A ray of edge bursts out from the tip. The whole body is made of chakra metal. If you buy this thing, it will cost at least several million taels. Ryosuke Yagami was also surprised by Suzuki's generosity. He actually gave him such a gift directly. This value is even higher than the Thunder Escape ninjutsu he gave. And the ninjutsu is only for Ryosuke Yagami himself. The cost of writing it down after learning it is just a scroll and a little ink. But this ninja sword is different. If you give it away to others, you won't have it anymore. It seems that Suzuki still has some legacy of the Uchiha clan. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. This sword is obviously one of them. When many people mention Uchiha, the first thing they think of is the Sharingan, and then their fire release ninjutsu. But in fact, Uchiha the clan is also very good at swordsmanship. Although they do not have swordsmanship ninjas as famous as Konoha Whitetooth, they are basically a jounin of the Uchiha clan, and they can do some good swordsmanship. However, now the ninjutsu scrolls of the Uchiha clan have been replaced by monkeys. Hiruzen and the others hurriedly collected it, leaving nothing for Suzuki. Suzuki probably had no use for this knife at home, so he never took it out and used it. In the early stage, before defecting, Suzuki also I really don't know any swordsmanship. Yes, I happen to be short of a ninja sword. Ryosuke Yagami liked this gift very much. He directly put the ninja sword on the table without putting it back into the box. New Year's Eve has passed and the new year has arrived. Ryosuke Yagami will also be 11 years old this year. But his birthday has not come yet, to be precise he is now 10.5 years old. It had only been more than 2 months since his past life memories had awakened. More than 2 months ago, Ryosuke Yagami was still a weakling who couldn't even use the 3-body technique. And now more than 2 months later. To what extent has Ryosuke Yagami's strength reached? Chakra, under the nourishment of the primary immortal body, after just more than 2 months of growth, Yagami Ryosuke's chakra reached 2.5 calories. More than 2 months ago, when Ryosuke Yagami had just obtained the primary immortal body, his chakra was only 1.2 calories. In just such a short time, his own chakra has improved so much. I have to say, it is indeed a fairy body. Even if it is an elementary level, it is still an immortal body. How can it be compared to an ordinary physique? And with the blessing of entry attributes, Ryosuke Yagami's total chakra amount reached an astonishing 87.5 calories. Compared with the total amount of chakra of 12-year-old Naruto, it was only a dozen calories short. Naruto has so much chakra because his chakra has been nourished by the Nine Tails chakra for a long time. The average Uzumaki celestial being is not capable of possessing 100 calories of chakra at the age of 12. And now, Ryosuke Yagami's chakra is close to this level. In addition, in terms of ninjutsu, Ryosuke Yagami also used the Sharingan to make more than a dozen copies in more than 2 months. There are B-level ones and C-level ones. However, C-level ninjutsu accounts for the majority. There are only 3 B-level ones. One is the Thunder Release. Pseudo-darkness given to Sasuke. There is also a B-level Wind Escape and a B-level Water Escape. They were all copied by Ryosuke Yagami from some family ninjas by chance. In addition, his Sharingan had evolved to the 3 Megatama state 2 months ago. The next step is to turn on the kaleidoscope. Yagami Ryosuke felt that this step was not difficult for him. After all, with 10 times the eye-opening efficiency, if he couldn't open the kaleidoscope, it would be a waste. Finally, there is the Muji ninjutsu called Raise-Nan. Yeshio had completed the Raise-Nan practice 2 months ago. It took another 2 months to integrate the changes in chakra properties into the Raise-Nan, thus extending 3 different forms of Raise-Nan. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 47. Wind Escape. Spiral Shuriken Technique. This is an extended ninjutsu developed by Naruto in the original Raise-Nan. The level has reached S level. Adding the sharp change of Feng done to it, the lethality is huge. But if you injure the enemy 1000, you will lose 800. Because it is an indiscriminate range of damage, even Yagami Ryosuke himself, a ninjutsu user, will be harmed by this ninjutsu. There are 2 solutions. Either continue to develop the technique of throwing the Raisen Shuriken directly like Naruto did in the later period. Or let the shadow clone carry out a suicide attack. Ryosuke Yagami chose this for the first time. He has been studying how to throw Raisen Shuriken recently. It's already starting to look a bit like this. The second extension of the Raise-Nan is the technique of fire release and exploding Raise-Nan. This was developed by Ryosuke Yagami himself. The property changes of the fire attribute are added to it, forming a Raise-Nan that will explode quickly once it comes into contact with the target, causing a wide range of explosion damage and fire damage. The level is also S level, and because it has fire attributes, it also has a burning effect, not a one-time damage. Even if you don't die immediately, you may be burned alive later. It is a very cruel forbidden ninjutsu. But the same thing, because the killing range is very large, under the premise that it cannot be thrown out, it can only be used by the shadow clone. Otherwise, if you kill 1000 enemies and lose 1000, you will also lose 1000. Wouldn't it be a move to perish together with the enemy? The last one is the water release Uzumaki Raise-Nan formed by Ryosuke Yagami injecting the properties of water into the Raise-Nan. The effect of this Raise-Nan is to form a huge water vortex after being released. The water vortex will suck the enemy into it and then strangle it inside. Even if I can't strangle you, I'll drown you. The water vortex will form for a while, and if you can't escape, you will definitely be dead. The level of the Uzumaki Raise-Nan is also S level. Although its direct lethality is not as strong as the first 2 Raise-Nans. However, due to its strong suction properties, even if it is not used at close range to the enemy, the suction force generated by its vortex will pull the enemy in, making it impossible for them to escape even if they want to. However, this thing is the same as the first 2 Raise-Nans. Even because of its strong suction power, the caster is even more unable to escape. We can only do the same as the enemy, taking a hard hit on the spot. S-level ninjutsu is inherently powerful. Coupled with the tenfold increase in the power of Yagami Ryosuke's ninjutsu, the power becomes even more terrifying. No matter which of the above-mentioned balls it is, not even Yagami Ryosuke himself can hold any of them, let alone others. Even a ninja with cage-level strength has to stay far away from these 3 types of meatballs from Ryosuke Yagami. He doesn't dare to get close at all, for fear of being sent to a Pure Land for retirement after being hit by one. The power of S-level ninjutsu, in the hands of Ryosuke Yagami, can definitely exert super S-level lethality. Not only is the power doubled, the range is also astonishingly large. When Ryosuke Yagami was testing, Zheng Jin asked the shadow clone to run out 1,000 meters away to test the effect of the explosive rays non. As a result, he was almost thousands of meters away and was almost thrown away by the shock wave of the explosion. The area where the explosion rays non exploded directly left a deep crater with a diameter of more than 800 meters, and all the trees within a radius of 2.5 kilometers were blown away. The shock wave spread as far as more than 10 kilometers away. Fortunately, Ryusuke Yagamai had already anticipated that this move would cause a lot of noise, so the test was conducted outside the village. If this were tested at the training ground in the village, I'm afraid that the higher UPS in Konoha have already been alerted and sent people over to investigate. Even so, in the next few days, Ryusuke Yagamai still heard Yoi Kurane and the others mention the news of a huge explosion near the southwest of the Land of Fire when they were chatting. It seems that Konoha also sent someone over to check the situation. But no substantial information was obtained. I suspect it was caused by a meteorite or something. As for why no meteorites were found in the pit, someone must have gotten there first. For this reason, Sarutobi Hiruzen specifically ordered his Umbu to investigate to see if they could find out what force had taken the meteorite away. After all, it was a meteorite. There is a high probability that there will be special or suitable for forging chakra weapons, and once found, it will be at least several tons. Looking at the size of the crater, this meteorite is obviously not small. Pity. After checking for a while, I couldn't find any information. It was as if the meteorite had mysteriously disappeared. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen and other Konoha senior officials very disappointed, secretly lamenting that I missed an opportunity to make money. After Yagamai Ryusuke heard about this, he laughed behind his back for several days. Still want to find meteorites? You look like a meteorite to me. In addition to adding property changes to the Raise Non and extending the Raise Non extended ninjutsu into 3 different forms, Ryusuke Yagamai also developed moves like the Otama Raise Non. However, compared to the incredibly powerful forbidden technique level existences such as the explosive Raise Non, the power of the Dayama Raise Non is much inferior. Even with 10 times the power, it is only slightly more powerful than ordinary S-level ninjutsu. Ryusuke Yagamai's eyesight has been raised by the 3 forbidden arts in front of him. There is actually a feeling of looking down on the Dayama Raise Non. The first day after the new year, Ryusuke Yagamai plays with his friends in the village. During the Chinese New Year, the streets of Konoha are also filled with lanterns and colorful decorations, and there are also temple fairs. In the evening, Ryusuke Yagamai went to Yoi Hong's house as a guest again. Hongdu and Xian are also here. Yagamai Ryusuke also brought them gifts he prepared. At the same time, he also received gifts from 3 people. Even the crazy woman Anko prepared it, but Yagamai Ryusuke suspected that she took this bag of frozen meatballs out of the refrigerator at home. It's sweet and delicious, Hongdu said with a smile. Confirmed. This must have been dug out of the refrigerator and prepared temporarily. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 48. During the New Year's holiday for a month, apart from resting in the first few days and going out and eating with friends, Ryusuke Yagamai basically spent the rest of the day practicing. In fact, Ryusuke Yagamai never thought that he would work so hard before. After all, he was actually a pretty lazy person in his previous life. But in this life, Yagamai Ryusuke felt that he seemed to have fallen in love with this kind of crazy exercise. On the one hand, the sense of accomplishment after becoming stronger is fascinating. On the other hand, it is also because his body's recovery ability is so strong that the painful feeling after crazy exercise does not last long, so people will not be discouraged after practicing a few times. On the contrary, there will be a very comfortable feeling during the recovery process, as if you are moving from a place of torture to a paradise on earth step by step. This process made Ryusuke Yagamai very obsessed with it. He exhausted his physical strength over and over again, even breaking the skin on his hands and feet and bleeding. But I still enjoy it every day. However, as Yagami Ryosuke's physique becomes stronger and stronger, it is no longer easy to see results quickly with simple daily exercises. So he began to make it more difficult for himself. In the past, when doing push-ups, you simply lay down and did it. But now, Ryosuke Yagami will put a big stone on his back. At first it was a stone weighing 200 to 300 kilograms. Then gradually changed to those of 500 to 600 kilograms, and then 700 to 800 kilograms. The weight was increased step by step until Ryosuke Yagami got used to the weight, and then continued to increase. At the same time, when you put a stone on your back, you not only have to bear the weight of the stone, but you also need to maintain a balance. Otherwise the stone will roll off your back. Therefore, this is also an exercise in body control. Also, the ones Ryosuke Yagami beat before were all trees. Later it was switched to hardcore. He specially customized an iron rod that was half a meter thick and 2 meters long in a ninja tool shop in Konoha. Insert the iron pole into the ground, exposing a large part of it, and then punch and kick the iron pole. Training his body to be harder than steel is the goal of Ryosuke Yagami. Normally, this is almost impossible to do in the world of Naruto. Most taijutsu ninjas' bodies are not as hard as steel. A handful of kunai can pierce their flesh and blood, and even cut off their bones. A lunatic like Raikage relies on the Thunder Chakra mode to stimulate and strengthen cells with the power of thunder and lightning, so that his physical fitness will undergo qualitative changes. But that's just an example. It is a very small number. You must know that the 4th generation Raikage is not as strong as his father, the 3rd Raikage, who is also practicing the Thunder Chakra mode. The Sandaime Raikage can fight the 8-tailed Gyuki in a duel. Even cut off one of his horns. The strength is evident. But the strength of the 4th Raikage is not so strong. Much weaker than his father. The things to cultivate are the same, so why is there a difference in strength? This is naturally due to the differences between people. To put it more mysteriously, it is the difference in talent and qualifications. Moreover, even for a being like the Sandaime Raikage, his physical fitness will decline after losing chakra. In the ninja world, there are no pure taijutsu masters who do not rely on chakra. This is the limit of the world. Because of the lack of external factors in this aspect. Why are people in the pirate world so physically strong? Look at what they are eating. All kinds of big monsters. He would grab a Neptune-like leg and chew on it at every turn. A meal requires several thousand kilograms of meat. How come you only eat a few kilograms in total and you eat several kilograms? What he ate was much heavier than the whole person. So where does all that food go? Certainly. The people in the pirate world are indeed like monsters in terms of their absorptive abilities. They can absorb it, and there is something for them to absorb. This is the reason why one of their bodies looks like a monster. But the world of Naruto does not have this condition. The absorption capacity is limited, and there isn't that much for you to absorb. Fortunately, Ryosuke Yagami has many talents. The increase in physical fitness alone, with the blessing of these talent entries, reached 23.5 times. Even if his physical fitness is not up to that of a monster. Available at a 23.5x bonus. You can become as powerful as a monster. Spring passes and autumn comes. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Li and his class graduated. Then Ryosuke Yagami and his friends were promoted to the 6th grade this year, and time also came to Konoha 60 years unknowingly. Training ground number 4, in an open space next to a waterfall. Yagami Ryosuke's upper body was naked, and every muscle on his body was undulating and pulling with his movements. Under a tree nearby, Hinata was waving her small palms at the tree trunk. She made a roaring sound from her mouth. Even if the sweat slipped from her forehead and dripped into her eyes, she did not stop to wipe it. Instead, she endured the discomfort and continued to practice. After a while, Ino came out of the forest with a bento. "Ryusuke, Hinata, it's time to eat," she shouted loudly. Boom! There was a loud noise. Ryusuke Yagami stood up, and at the same time, a boulder on his back was lifted high with his movement, and he caught it with one hand. This boulder, it weighed at least a dozen tons. But in Yagami Ryusuke's hands, it seemed to weigh only a dozen kilograms. He held it up with one hand, and then gently placed it on the ground aside. There was no ground around him. Any weeds grow, and a little further out, lush weeds begin to appear. Plop! After putting down the boulder, Yagami Ryusuke turned around and jumped into the pool behind him. After washing his whole body and rinsing away the sweat, he jumped back to the shore. Wind escape. The art of blowing the wind. A gust of warm wind blew and dried the water stains on his body. This was a small ninjutsu he developed in his spare time. It was mainly used to dry the water stains on his body, so that he could save the need to wipe it after taking a shower. It is used in the process. Of course, if Ryusuke Yagami is willing, as long as he increases the output of chakra, this blowing technique can also produce an effect comparable to a major breakthrough, or even stronger. But it is not necessary. Just blow the wind, it's not a typhoon. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 49. Sitting on the picnic cloth, the three of them ate the bento brought by Ino. Tomorrow is the day of the graduation exam. Hinata, are you confident? Ino suddenly asked. Well, I can do that. Hinata nodded and said softly. For more than 2 years, Hinata has actually been practicing secretly with Ryusuke Yagami. It was almost 2.5 years ago. At the end of the year before last, Ryusuke Yagami accidentally I once found Hinata sitting alone by the river in a daze, so I went over to chat with her for a while. Later I found out that it was because Hinata was scolded by her father again, so she was a little depressed, so she ran out to relax. While walking, I accidentally ran to the outskirts of the village. Ryusuke Yagami chatted with Hinata for a long time that day. It was the first time the two of them talked so much. Hinata herself is not a talkative person. And she is easily shy, and even faints when she is shy to a certain extent. So in school before, Yagami Ryusuke only occasionally said a few words to Hinata, or said hello. That was also the case. After one time, Yagami Ryusuke convinced Hinata to let her practice with him when she had time in the future, and he would also guide her in physical training. According to Hinata's character, she would definitely be embarrassed to agree. Even in her heart, if you have this idea, you will reject it because you don't want to trouble Yagami Ryusuke. But who gave Yagami Ryusuke the talent entry of King of Mouth Escape? After talking about it, Hinata was directly convinced by him. I don't think so. I agreed to him without thinking. After that, Hinata would come out to practice with Ryusuke Yagami 2 or 3 days a week, and Ryusuke Yagami also took this opportunity to subtly change Hinata's character. Alone, her character is not innate. It is closely related to the environment in which she grew up. Hinata is still young, and to be honest, her character has not yet been fully formed. At this time, Ryusuke Yagami used his persuasive power to persuade her over and over again. Instilling his thoughts into her, Hinata turned into his shape without knowing it. Now more than 2 years have passed. Hinata's personality has indeed changed a lot. It is no longer the same as before. She has become shy. Although she is still quite introverted and doesn't like to talk much, at least she has begun to be able to relax in front of close people like Yagami Ryusuke and Ino. She will also be bold in whatever ideas she has in her heart. Express it. No longer keep it in your heart all day long and say nothing to anyone. In addition, after more than 2 years of practice, Hinata's strength has also improved a lot. More than a month ago, she successfully learned Bagwa 64. With her palm, even the Hyuga clan's special skill Kaishin can be used smoothly. According to Ryosuke Yagami's evaluation of her, her strength has reached the level of Chunin. In addition to having little combat experience, she has almost no experience. She lost to any Taijutsu type Chunin. In comparison, Ino's strength improvement is not as great as Hinata's, but she herself is not very keen on this aspect. Hinata's reason is because she wants to become stronger. To prove her determination. That's why Ryosuke Yagami asked her to practice with him. But Ino's situation is different. Her parents are very good to her, and there are no strict requirements. As long as she can learn the family ninjutsu, that's fine. The others hardly care about Ino. Therefore, Ino has developed a character that is not enthusiastic about training. But no matter what they do, Yagami Ryosuke will choose to support their ideas. After all, whether it is Hinata or Hinata, it's still Ino. They are all the wings of Yagami Ryosuke, there is no distinction between them. I almost forgot, tomorrow is the graduation exam day. If Ino didn't say anything, Yagami Ryosuke had almost forgotten about it. During this period, he was so immersed in training that he almost forgot about time. He vaguely remembered that Mr. Irika seemed to have talked about the graduation exam yesterday. It's a pity. Ryosuke Yagami was wandering in the world at that time. He didn't hear clearly. As for the graduation exam, it should be a test on the art of clones. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. Although it has been almost 2 years since the memory of his past life awakened. But the memory of Naruto's plot has not faded over time, but has become clearer. This is mainly because of Ryosuke Yagami's mental power has been greatly improved with the development of Sharingan, so the memory of the past becomes clearer and clearer, instead of gradually fading away as time goes by. But this time, Naruto would need to steal another sealed book. Ryosuke Yagami smiled and thought to himself. In the past 2 years or so, Naruto has been practicing hard and has completely given up on using pranks to attract attention. Therefore, it is difficult to distinguish the test of separation skills. It doesn't defeat him. I just don't know, if Naruto graduates successfully, how will our dear third Hokage develop a good relationship with Naruto? It won't be directly treated as a gift, giving a ninja with the art of multiple shadow clones. Jutsu scroll, right? As for deliberately telling Naruto to fail the exam on purpose, Yagami Ryosuke is not that boring. Doing this is nothing more than thinking about the sealed book, which may have been stolen by Naruto. You know it can't be real. Either it was rigged, or it's just a fake. There is a high probability that there is only a multiple shadow clone technique. After all, the Book of Sealing is such an important thing, and it is impossible for Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, to randomly. Even if there is only a 0.01% chance of an accident, he will not take risks. Moreover, neither Naruto nor Mizuki has really seen the sealed book. Facing several people who have never seen the real sealed book, then why use the real thing? Just buy a fake one. And Yagami Ryosuke doesn't like the fake sealed book. Naturally, he's too lazy to bother with it. Really, if Irika-sensei didn't tell us in advance what the test would be tomorrow, wouldn't he let us fight against those official genin? I heard that the graduation test for students in the past was to fight with official genin. Ino said in a serious tone about the gossip that she didn't know where she got it from. Don't worry, it's over now. The most you can do is take the 3-body technique test. Ryosuke Yagami directly revealed the correct answer to them, so that they would not guess here and scare themselves. Take the 3-body technique test. Ino and Hinata both looked at Ryosuke Yagami in surprise. Obviously they didn't expect that the exam would be so simple. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 50. Now is the time of peace. For the village, there is plenty of time to cultivate genin slowly, so the difficulty of graduation will naturally not be that high. Ryosuke Yagamai explained. So this is a. The two of them nodded in realization. If it's a three-body technique, then it's totally fine. Ino said with a smile. Fortunately, she was a little worried before. In the end, it turned out that it was just a test of the three-body technique. Oh. This is too simple. There is no way that someone can really learn the three-body technique for 6 years. You can't use it skillfully, right? No. Night, in the room. Yagamai Ryosuke is sitting at his desk, looking at some of the talent entries he has gained in the past 2.5 years. Ryosuke Yagamai. Talent entries. Destiny's Son, Gold. Vengeful Spirit, Gold. Cursed Eye, Gold. Indra's Resentment, Gold. Mouth Escape King, Gold. Demon Fox Incarnation, Gold. The Kindness of Azura, Golden. White Eyes Princess, Purple. Academic Master, Purple. 50/50, Gold. Burning Soul of Youth, Purple. The Man Uchiha Madara Approved, Gold. Invisible, Purple. Your existence is easily ignored by others. Even if you stand in front of them, you may be turned a blind eye. Presence -1500%. Little Rich Woman, Purple. You are very rich. Growing up, you never knew what it felt like to be short of money. Money is add 100,000 taels per day. Your monetary gain is add 500%. Comes with space transfer. Martyr, Purple. If life has color, then your life must be gray. Konoha's 12 little heroes have lost one person from now on. Byakugan observation distance add 200%. The power of Bagwazang add 200%. Comes with it? Damn it. Akamaru's owner, Purple. You have a dog and you have a great relationship with it. You eat and live together. Canine Psychic Beasts favorability add 1000%. I am strong, Purple. I'm not fat, I am so plump, and I'm strong. Food absorption efficiency add 1000%. Flower Fairy, Purple. A touch of bright gold among thousands of flowers. I was born to be the proud daughter of heaven that attracts everyone's attention. Mental power add 300%. Illusion resistance add 300%. Violent Maniac, Purple. You like violence. Doing violence makes you feel good inside. This may be another side of you hidden deep in your heart. Physical power add 500%. Comes with strange power. Kendo Master, Purple. You have a deep understanding of Kendo. Your swordsmanship is so superb that you can be called a master swordsman. Swordsmanship training efficiency add 400%. Sword power add 400%. Master of Illusion, Purple. You have a deep understanding of illusion. Your illusion skills are so superb that you can be called a master of illusion. Illusion power add 500%. Comes with tree binding kill. Number of conversions, 0. Biopheromone warehouse, a pile of all kinds of hair. Free experience points, 4,566 points. I won't write what I wrote before, mainly the talent entries that the protagonist will obtain later. On the interface, all the talent entries currently equipped by Ryosuke Yagamai are listed. In addition to a lot of golden talent entries in front. The following are all purple talent entries. After Yagamai Ryosuke's continuous transformation of entries over the past 2 years, he has now figured out the rules for transformation of entries. One is to judge based on the potential of the target being converted. Basically, anyone with super shadow potential in the future can be transformed into a golden talent entry. Such as Naruto. Such as Sasuke. In the Fourth Ninja War, Kakashi also received another eye brought back from the Pure Land by Obito, which gave him super shadow combat power, so he could also convert a golden talent entry into his body. Needless to say, Metkai. Proper Super Shadow level combat power. Although the duration is a bit short, no matter how short it is still Super Shadow level. As for film level potential, or that it occupies a relatively important position, the entries converted into it are basically purple. Such as the other 10 people in the 12 Little Strong. Although not everyone is film level with future potential. But being one of the 12 strongest characters alongside the two protagonists Naruto and Sasuke, he is obviously a figure who occupies a large space in this world, so the talent entries converted from them are also purple. And like Yoi Kurane, Yoizuki Yojeo, and Sarutobi Asuma, the entries converted from them are basically blue. One is that the future potential is less than film level. The other one also doesn't have enough cafe seats. In comparison, people like Irika and Mizuki. Basically, it can only be converted into green talent entries. Ryosuke Yagamai has been converting talent entries on time every day for more than 2 years. The reason why after more than 2 years, only a few entries were retained is because most of the entries he converted later were useless entries. They were basically broken down by him and turned into free experience points. Therefore, in more than 2 years, he accumulated more than 4,000 free experience points. They were all obtained by decomposing those useless entries, of which he also spent 2,000 experience points. Spent on the two talent entries Master of Swordsmanship and Master of Illusion. The former is an entry transformed from Mao Yuzian. The latter is the entry transformed from Yui Hong's body. It's all blue in the beginning. Ryosuke Yagamai thought their attributes were okay, so he spent 2,000 experience points to upgrade them to purple. It starts with the entries for Sword Master and Illusion Master. After upgrading to purple, it becomes its current name. If you upgrade them to gold, it is estimated that it will change. But it is still inseparable from the two themes of Kendo and Illusion. In fact, the entry Akamaru's Master in the purple talent entry. Yagamai Ryosuke also wanted to break it down. He doesn't need any favorability bonus from a canine psychic beast. That thing is of no use to him. The reason why it has not been decomposed is because Yagamai Ryosuke cannot collect 10,000 free experience points for the time being. And decomposing a purple talent entry will give you 1,000 experience points. Plus what he already has, it's not enough to upgrade any purple talent entry to gold. That's why I left it undecomposed for the time being.